I was going through my DVD collection the other day, and it struck me that when you look through all of my DVDs, it's very much like seeing most of my life journey. My collection encapsulates stuff from when I was a young boy, through to my teen years, to my early adult years, to my later adult years. There's something from every one of my videos that as I look through them, there's a story of my life, if you like. So what I've done on this video, I've pulled out a few to give you a broad idea of the kind of things that tell the story of my life. Behind me, you'll see loads of TV series that I've loved through the years, from Bonanza at the top when I was a young boy, down to Land of the Giants, which I loved as well, and various assorted TV sets. But let's just jump in to my DVD collection. I've pulled a few out to give you some ideas of the different stages of my life. And I wonder that if you've got DVDs too, and Blu-ray, of course, have you got the kind of collection that encapsulates the story of your life? Let's go back to my childhood. It's just a few films that remind me of when I was a boy. Batman, the movies. I love this. The first film, I love Batman. This version of Batman, as camp as it was, I absolutely loved it. Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. As a kid, it was one of those films I really enjoyed. And I talk about this one quite a lot, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. It's one of those early films that I went to the pictures and saw and absolutely loved. All of those started with me with my joy of watching TV and films and that. But of course, I always have the influences of what my family watched. And when I was growing up, my mum and dad loved the musical. So I've picked Calamity Jane as one of those. I remember seeing this as a boy and thinking it was delightful. I think that's the only way I could use it. Genevieve, the story of this car and a London to Brighton rally. There were big epics when I was a kid that we used to watch on telly, like Ben-Hur. Absolute classic films. And I can remember at Christmas, when I was young, in the mornings, every day on the run up to Christmas, you'd see an Elvis film. I absolutely loved these. But my mum was the one that really, got me hooked into films. And I can remember her letting me watch this, 12 Angry Men, and realising what a great film this was and how those films of way back when could rivet you and keep you watching. I got into my early teen years and I loved the Carry On films, particularly this one. You all know the scene, Barbara Windsor, camping, keeping fit. Oh, little bit, that was for me at the time. And then there were films that got me as a teenager because they covered things that I knew. The film, That'll Be the Day, David Essex, he worked on a fairgrounding part of it. I come from a fairground family. That made it interesting to me, and I loved my music. And you see, Stardust was when he became a rock star, and so that was important to me. There were films that were more for me than some that I saw. Blazing Saddles, I loved a comedy. Blazing Saddles is just one of those tailblazers that should be shown today. People get this film wrong. It's an absolutely superb film that covers racism in a way that needs covering. And then, of course, you've got Airplane. If I've ever been to a pictures, I remember going to see this in the pictures, and everybody in hysterics, total hysterics as they were watching the film and laughed all the way through it. Then I come, of course, to my macho phase of my life, when I think like films like Roadhouse, where Patrick Swayze played the big tough bouncer, and that was great. And of course, the big one for me when I was growing up, I got to about 18, 19, and this film came out, Scum. Ray Winston as the ultimate tough guy of someone who was of my age at the time. And then I loved the Kung Fu film, I loved the Bruce Lee films, but this one stuck out to me, best of the best. It was because there's a comment in there, there's a quote in there that just rung true to me at the time, and I loved it for that, and I couldn't resist buying this when I saw it again. I'm someone who has always loved music, and as I got into my teens, there was one film in particular that grabbed the attention of everybody. It was this one, Saturday Night Fever. Now, I didn't like the film. I thought it was too gritty, to be honest with you, but I absolutely loved the music that was in it. It's just the albums in my shelves. It just makes me boogie on down. I loved it. It just got me going. Then, of course, you got this one. I've talked about this before, Grease. I love this film. It's so enjoyable. You've got a school full of people that was too old to be there. You've got good songs. It's just such a feel-good film. It's in my top 3 of films of all time. I watch this regularly. It just makes me happy. And then you got this one, of course, The Commitment. What a brilliant film that was. A group of Irish kids making a band that nearly made it, but blew up at the last minute. But it's such a really good film. The next lot of films are films that actually mean something to me, that as I got older into my 40s, if you like, they kind of gripped me, choked me at times as well. And when I look back on them, they taught me something too. First up, Schindler's List. The story is one of heroism, really. The things that he did to save these people. And if you've seen this film, that very last scene chokes me up completely every single time I see it. It's a film that I think of my dad all the time. Field of Dreams. Not because we ever played sport together. We didn't. But it's about that bond, that link of what might have been. This film, to me, is my favourite film of all time. It just chokes me up, to be honest, every time I see it. But it is great. And then there's this one, Cinema Paradiso. If there's a film I've got that makes me love film, it's this one. The story from the boy to the man is brilliant. And it pulls on my heartstrings. I've got to say, I'm a bit of a softie. I'm a heart on my sleeve guy. And this film grabs me and keeps me there. And then one final film, as I've got to the age that I am now, I've become ultra nostalgic. There's no doubt about that. And also I like a bit of what I call Sunday night telly type films, you know, like easygoing, things that don't push you too much, but also nostalgic at the same time. First up, The Railway Children. Do you remember that? I didn't see it as a child. I saw it about 8 or 9 years ago was the first time that I saw it. And it's just such a heartwarming little movie. Then we come to Saving Mr. Banks. Now, as someone who knows about Mary Poppins, but didn't remember seeing the film as a child, when I did eventually get to see it, probably about 5 years ago, I was enchanted by it, if the truth be known. And this film, which is the story of how it came about, with Tom Hanks as Walt Disney is great, Emma Thompson as P.L. Travers is superb. It is just a good film. It's heartwarming, and it's a story of redemption on her part. But it's a real good story, and I loved it. And then finally, When Harry Met Sally. Now, I didn't realise that in my 50s, I was going to become a lover of the rom-com. It was never something that I imagined me ever liking. I thought they were women's films, but I got to like these films over the years. And as I get older and more nostalgic, I like them even more. This is just a little sample of my film collection, but one which tells a story of my life in a way, and the things that I loved at the different times in it. And now I'm at the age that I am. Not only did they tell the story of my life, they give me a nostalgic treat. I can watch any of these films and pretty much any of my others and remember the times when they came out I can remember the reasons that I bought them on DVD. And one thing I can guarantee is that when I watch them, I always feel good. And so my DVD collection, if you like, is the map of who I once was and who I am now. That's it from me for this video. And if you click up there, the video is about my 100 favourite TV shows. I'll see you next time.